Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight, we're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland.
In a stuffy old warehouse in Adelaide's north, Brian Gilbertson is 36 hours away from running South Australia's largest community event, the annual Christmas pageant.
Walking in a winter wonderland.
Since 1933, more than a quarter of the city's population has lined the streets of the CBD to celebrate the beginning of the festive season, come rain, hail, or in the case of this year, scorching heat.
I'm pretty confident, very confident. All will go well on Saturday. We've done this before in hot weather and we'll ultimately do it again.
The Christmas pageant has survived high temperatures before, but never has Adelaide had to swelter through a week of heat like this leading up to it. For the past 5 days, the mercury has hovered around or above the old century mark, breaking a record for November set in 1894. The reason is a stubborn weather system that's pulling hot air off the deserts in the north of the state.
Well, we've basically got a high that's re-establishing itself repeatedly in the Tasman Sea. The fronts that are trying to come through to give the relief are failing, and without those fronts coming through the state, we're just not going to get the relief.
Aside from a few incidents, the state has coped with the heat almost without breaking into a sweat. But then, South Australians are getting used to record-breaking heat waves.
March 2008 and January and February of this year, both on each occasion reset the records for heat waves. And that's something that the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has identified as a trend for extreme weather, such that we do expect to see more events like this in the future.
The hot conditions have been a bonus for the state's grain farmers, who are bringing in the best harvest for 20 years. But after a good winter of rain, the early ferocious burst of summer is rapidly turning the crops into a tinderbox. Last night, near the town of Pascoeville on the York Peninsula, the Country Fire Service fought a blaze that tore through 20,000 bales of hay.
Hay warms up inside. If it's a little bit damp, a very hot day, it can warm up and combust.
10 years ago, the fire season was only about 3 or 4 months long. Nowadays, we're regularly seeing fire seasons which are 6 months, 7 months, in some cases 8 or 9 months long. This is consistent with some of the forecasts we've seen associated with changing climate.
The fire was a reminder of the last fatal bushfires in South Australia that claimed 9 lives in January 2005 when they raced through paddocks of stubble on the Eyre Peninsula. Now all parts of the state are subject to a new warning system introduced in the wake of the Victorian fires, with a greater emphasis on evacuation.
The evidence we've seen from the Black Saturday bushfires is that even some very well prepared homes and very well prepared people lost their lives and homes were lost because the plan failed. We've been reinforcing the importance, if you want to survive, you must leave early.
The heat has also been felt across the border, where Victoria has sweltered through a week of unseasonably high temperatures. For a state still rebuilding from the Black Saturday fires 9 months ago, there was a worrying start to the season when a backburn at Point Nepean south of Melbourne jumped containment lines and took 2 days to bring under control. While fire authorities are stressing people need to learn to live with regular and intense bushfires, it appears those in non-bushfire areas will also have to be aware of how to survive extended periods of greater heat.
Often older Victorians will forget to drink. They might be doing things outside. Really this is a time to take it easy, rehydrate, but also the message that if you don't feel well, ring your GP, ring Nurse on Call, or if you're really feeling very unwell, ring the ambulance service.
During the heat wave, which led up to Black Saturday, Victoria recorded more than twice as many deaths than for the same time in previous years. Because the highest proportion were elderly, a voluntary register has been created so that the vulnerable can be checked on during extreme weather.
They'll get a phone call from a volunteer to just see how they're going, if all's well. It also is an important resource for the police. If a neighbour or a family member might be worried about someone, they'll have information about the person, whether they're at home or not at home, and what some of the things to look out for.
The acclimatisation of about 10 degrees.
For those sweltering in the southeast of the country, the Bureau says there is some relief due next week, but not in time for the Christmas pageant.
It's going to be very hot, and it's going to be fairly unrelieving heat. We're going for 39 now. We're updating the forecast as we speak.
Not good news for a man who will spend this Saturday wearing a red suit and a fake beard.